City Confidential.
The city is headed for a disaster of biblical proportion.
AM 640, Toronto Radio.
9:08, here it is. It's the City Confidential panel convening again Friday morning as they do after 9 o'clock, and joined in the studio by Joe Fiorito from the Toronto Star. Good morning, Joe. Also joining us, Lauren Honickman, broadcast journalist and partner at the firm of McCaig-Borlaug. Good morning, Lauren.
Good morning.
And rounding out the trio this morning, J.P. Pampina is the Executive Vice President of J.P. Public Relations and a mayoral candidate.
Good morning.
Good morning to you, J.P., the man with a vision.
That's me.
Day in the sun. We got a big event coming up next weekend in G8 and G20. Even to the extent the Americans have issued their State Department of Travel advisory saying, don't come to Toronto. It could present some problems. It could be dangerous. Lauren Honickman, is this overreaction?
No, not at all. I mean, we're telling Torontonians don't come to Toronto. I mean, downtown Toronto is going to be a huge problem. You can see it right now. And it's just saying, I don't think it's the dangerousness aspect in the sense that if you get tourists coming to Toronto and they're not able to get downtown, they're not able to enjoy all our sights and sounds, I don't have any problems with that. And I'm not sure why people are getting so insulted by that. I mean, that's not going to be a time for tourism in Toronto. Let's be very clear.
So it's just prudent.
Yeah, I think it's really prudent.
In context as well, the Americans have a travel advisory against South Africa because of the World Cup and the attendant...
So what are you saying? They're overreacting? It's just alarmism?
You know, Americans have a very small view of the world. Having said that, I mean, look, I've seen those fences. I was in favor of having the G20 here because Toronto's a big city and we should play on a world stage. But you know what? I want my downtown back.
Well, yeah, that hasn't even started yet, Joe.
Yeah, this is not the time for tourists to be coming to Toronto. Let's be very clear about
JP,
that.
do you think they were right to issue an advisory? Hey, folks, you're not going to see the city of Toronto anyway. Stay home.
Well, I think they made a big mistake where they put it. I think it should have been more retained into a location like the CNE, and there would have been a lot more control, a lot less expenses, and a lot more inquisitivity by allowing the people who'd like to share in the excitement come downtown, but still be restricted by boundaries.
So the organizers blew it, but the Americans...
Let's give David Miller a little credit, because that's where he wanted it too, and he was overridden by, golly, was it the Tories?
All right, now he's upset. Now he's upset, of course, saying the Americans have overreacted, and he's trying to do some damage control or run interference. But, you know, to Lauren's point, it's just going to be a boondoggle anyway. I wouldn't want to show up as a tourist not knowing about this. I guess to the credit, the government is just giving a flag or a heads up.
Can you imagine how terrible that would be? Somebody coming to Toronto for the first time and they can't make it downtown.
Right. Well, you know, the other thing is, of course, with the milling about of the protesters, Sid Ryan, who's head of the Ontario Federation of Labour, pretty much firing a warning salvo across the bow of the Toronto Police Service saying, you know, we have concerns that you might use provocateurs, agent provocateurs, put your undercover guys within the crowds to instigate violence to justify the expense of the security detail. J.P. Pampina, do you think, because the Mike McCormick, head of the Police Association, saying he should resign for making this kind of an irresponsible claim or an outrageous type of thing, like he should resign or at very least issue an apology? Should Sid Ryan apologize?
I think it's all about with Sid headlines. He's always trying to find ways of getting into headlines. This is just another demonstration of unions playing politics. And as far as resigning, I don't know. It's just part of the game, I guess. And he's got I think he represents about 1 million representatives in his union. So he's got to start making some noise and
so he's grandstanding is what you're saying.
Basically it.
Well, Joe, I mean, is there any merit here to, what Sid Ryan is saying in Montebello in 2007, the Sûreté du Québec, the OPP kind of counterpart in Quebec, did actually have some of their officers undercover picking up stones, and they were trying to, I guess, instigate...
It's not beyond the scope of possibility that the police might stir the pot a little. Having said that, Sid said what he said, I think, as a kind of a warning shot. But there's an awful lot of strange things being said. Our police chief, who's really, in terms of policing in North America, is a pretty progressive guy, is saying that the noise cannon is a communication device. And, when he's saying that, I mean, I think Sid can say anything he wants about agent provocateur.
No, really? That's back to your apples and oranges that I know you love to keep in your same basket, Joe.
Yep.
But the bottom line is with this is that Sid Ryan, I mean, you call it stir the pot or whatever, and if he was here, I'd say, Sid, why do you not want the facts to get in the way of a good comment? I mean, this is the G20. This is going to be one of the most important events in the city. $1.2 billion in security. It's kind of hard to believe that the police themselves, they all want to come out looking good at this. There's going to be nothing more than the police are going to want to say at the end of the day, all security, look how well we handled this.
Let me turn my, watch this, I'm going to do magic here. I'm going to turn an apple into an orange.
Yeah.
When as you pointed out, John, when the police in Quebec were stirring the pot, it's not beyond the realm of possibility to consider that the same thing might not happen here. Happen once could happen twice.
So then you come out and you say, let's hope that what happened in Quebec doesn't happen here. You don't come out and talk about it like, hey, look, this is going to happen. This is going to happen here.
Prudence dictates that there are possibilities. Sid's raising the specter. He's firing a warning shot across the bow of the police. There are going to be an awful lot of people in those demonstrations and parades who are ordinary, normal.
Provocateurs. I still want fun. Put this flag back. That's cool now, man. They got their cops back. Good job.
They were moving in because the flag was
Yeah. Who was that guy over there? Where is it taking away? What was that? Did somebody get into it?
No, the three cops tried to they had rocks and they were about to start a riot. They sucked everybody in and these kids spotted them. I stepped in front of them and stopped them. We stopped them, asked them to take their masks off. They're carrying big boulders. They brought anyone that's here.
They were
Provocateurs with boulders. They wanted to create a riot.
They weren't
They're policemen. We asked them to take their masks off. They're cops.
And they were provoking. So it would be an excuse for the police to move in, and we don't want that. So we're not protecting the police. We're stopping.
We got some peaceful protesters down there. We got to protect.
They're back in there. They crossed back into the police line.
They're trying to create a riot so that they can suck us all in and get beat up.
There are people off the police.
How do you know? I stopped him. Looked him in his eye and said, "You're a cop, aren't you?" And his eye just glazed right up. And I tried to take his mask off. We took it off. We got pictures. They're provocateurs. We got a peaceful group of young brothers down there, and we're going to ensure that these guys don't beat them up. That's our job. This is our line, and we're going to protect them. We're not letting some goon with a club come in and start a riot.